In this video, we'll be going over an SAT geometry practice problem that relates to angles. So this is a very important concept, and you will for sure get at least 2 questions on this concept in the SAT. So the problem is, two isosceles triangles are shown above. If 180 minus z is equal to 2y and y is equal to 75, what is the value of x? And this is all based on the diagram above. So we have our y value, our z value, and our x value. So those are all outlined there. Now, first, let's write down what the problem has given us. So we have 180 minus z is equal to 2y, and then y is equal to 75. So just to start, it might be helpful to find what z is, since we are given the information needed to solve for z. So we would get 180 minus z is equal to 75 times 2 is equal to 150. So then we would just subtract both sides by 180, and we would get z is equal to 30. So now that we have z and y, we now have the information needed to solve for x. So first, let's label everything on our given diagram. We have 30 degrees, then we have y as 75 degrees. And x is, of course, still unknown. But we do know that it is an isosceles triangle. So with our z value, just to start, we can find the two other angles, because we know that because this is an isosceles triangle, so let's put this here as 30. Because this is an isosceles triangle, both this angle and this angle will be equal. And because they're equal, and we know the total, the sum of all the angles in this triangle, we are able to solve for both. So for this z triangle, we can do 180, which is the total sum of all the angles in that triangle, minus z divided by 2 is equal to, let's just say, this angle. And that is because we're taking the sum of these two bottom angles by subtracting it by z, and then we divide it by 2, so that way we get only one of the angles. So what you would get from this is 180 minus 30 over 2 is equal to this angle. So then we get 90 minus 15, and 90 minus 15 is just 75. So we know that this angle here is equal to 75. That means, so these two angles each are 75 degrees. And we can just fact check that, because 75 plus 75 plus 30 is equal to 180. So here we have this. Now, using this information, we're able to solve for x, because we know that the side that x is on, it's equal to 180. So if we just erase this, so this whole area here, knowing that it is 75 degrees, and that this side is also, and that this side here is also 75 degrees, what we know is that this whole angle here, this whole angle that we have given here, is equal to 180 degrees because it is flat. This is a full flat line. So we know that this angle here, plus x is equal to 180. So that means what we can do is we can do 180 is equal to x degrees plus 75, since because this here is equivalent to this here, and this plus x is equal to 180. So now that we have this, we have enough information to solve for x degrees. So we have 180, subtract both sides by 75 to isolate x, minus 75 is equal to x degrees. And now x degrees is equal to 180 minus 75, and that's just 105. And this is our final answer.